Hey guys, back here with Tua for another video. Update pup date time, week 38. If you're new to this channel, I do this style video every single Sunday on my Bullmastiff Tua. Basically just updating you guys on the week as he grows another week older, and just touch on a lot of different topics, things that I noticed throughout the week. His physical growth, his weight, his height, socialization, his food, his energy levels, drooling, training abilities, all kinds of stuff. And I basically do these videos not only for myself to have something to look back on him one day, but also to try to create a great log of information for anybody interested in the Bullmastiff breed. This will give you very specific ages and times in their life and what I went through with him and possibly what you could expect with the Bullmastiff. And then obviously if he turns out to be a great dog, which so far he has been, you'll be able to kind of see what I did to help mold and shape that, and just see a lot of different breed characteristics. So go ahead, check out all the videos if you are interested in the breed. Usually I start these videos out with just some newer stuff that we experienced or went through during the week. Last week I had said that he had this diarrhea spell or bout, whatever you want to call it, and he was throwing up, and it was after we had been gone for a couple of days. He is completely back from that. That's completely cleared up. It hasn't been an issue for a while now, basically all week. So that lasted, a few days last week. And somebody had brought up in the comments that he probably just got stressed out when we had left him for a couple of days. And because he hadn't eaten anything different, he hadn't gotten into anything. We couldn't really figure out what it could be. It could have just been a random sickness, but it really makes a lot of sense that he could have just gotten stressed out when we were gone, because that was the first time we had ever left him. And then that just kind of carried over for a couple days after we got back. So I'm going to say that that's probably what it was. Got himself all worked up and stressed out because we were gone for the first time. But he's completely back to normal now, and there is no more issues. Another new thing from the week is I did slowly start adding his adult food into his puppy kibble. Not much at all, just very slowly. He's almost 9 months old now, so I'm thinking that I'll just do this very slow and smooth transition, adding it in there, and probably by the time he's about a year or a little over a year, I'm planning on having that kibble being 100% adult food. As you can see here, there's not like a huge difference in the kibble other than, I guess, the shape and the size. Puppy food's obviously smaller and the adult is the bigger stuff, kind of shaped like the disc. So yeah, that's just something that I started to do. No reason really, just I had planned on switching that kibble over by the time he was about a year old, and I just want to start a very slow transition now with it. I mentioned before in the other video last week for sure, and maybe before that, how much stronger his jaws are getting now. And he's just able to chew up pretty much any soft toy that we give him. Sometimes within a matter of minutes, sometimes it takes him hours. But a lot of the time, no matter what, any kind of soft toy we get him, no matter how tough that I think it is, that thing is chewed up in a matter of several days at the most. So I think we're probably pretty much done with getting him soft toys. He's pretty much destroyed all the soft toys that we've gotten him as of late. So I guess if I was going to get him a soft toy, I might as well just have him chew up a $20 bill instead. There's really no point. He just destroys them so quick. So definitely going to stick to hard toys. Definitely like to take suggestions from you guys on what you might recommend for hard toys. I'm finding a few that, he's working on, and it's taken him a while to chew them up. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Now I'll go ahead and start touching on the main things that I touch on every single week, starting with weight as usual. Last week he was 107 pounds, and he didn't gain any weight in that previous week, and that was the first time ever. But like I said in the last video, I chalked that up to he was having the diarrhea and puking issues, so I wasn't feeding him as much. So that's definitely why he didn't gain any weight last week. But this week he went ahead and gained weight again. He was 107, he's 109 now, so he's up 2 pounds. And I'd say that's a pretty healthy weight range for him to do. A pound or two a week is probably right where we want to be. If not for that last week where he didn't gain anything, he'd probably be 110, 112, something like that right now. But guys, he's still very, very skinny. I can still see all of his ribs and everything. And like I say every week, veins in his legs, muscles in his legs. I'll try and get him to stand here for the camera. Maybe you can kind of get an idea of kind of how skinny he is. I don't know if you're able to see it very good, but like you can see kind of the muscles in his body here and in his legs and the ribs. If the light's hitting it just right, you can see that also. But yeah, like it's very noticeable if the light's hitting them just right. You can definitely see all of his ribs. Just sit. Another thing that I touch on every week, socialization. I honestly don't really have much to say about that this week. It was a really bad week for it. I was actually gone for a couple of days for work. So my wife was kind of holding down the fort with Tua and the kids. So she didn't get him out on any walks. I didn't get him out on any walks. No stores, anything like that. It was just a lot of playing in the yard. But that's life. It's starting to get really busy now. Work has been picking up for me and my wife, and also with school starting here in another week, I would anticipate that this week's going to be kind of bad for socialization also. But we've really socialized him up to this point, so it's okay if we miss a couple weeks of not exposing him to new people or dogs or anything like that, because he's been exposed to a ton of people and dogs and just different sights, sounds, smells, scenarios, places, and things like that from basically the day we brought him home. So if we miss a week or two, not the end of the world. Food is another thing that I touch on every single week. If you're a regular viewer, you know that I supplement with raw meat and just like raw fruit and vegetables as well, mixed in with this kibble. I'd say I'm at about a 60-40 split right now, 60% of that food being kibble and the other 40% being that raw meat. This week I did chicken gizzards, chicken breasts, and strawberries. As usual, everything went great with it. No bad reactions to it. There never really has been. So yeah, raw food's going great. If you guys have never tried that with your dog, go ahead and do a lot of research. You can ask me to. I'm not an expert on it by any means, but I was very apprehensive when I started, and I would say it's been a very good experience. Tua seems to really enjoy it. I'm kind of enjoying finding different foods and stuff to give him. So look into it. And even if you have a dog where you have been feeding them kibble for a long time and want to transition to raw, go ahead and do it, because we have a 10-year-old miniature pinscher who had never eaten raw before we got Tua, and I started mixing in with her food as well. And she's done great with it. No bad reactions. Barking is another thing that I touch on every single week. So Tua is not much of a barker, except for a couple different scenarios. If he's in our yard and he's hearing sounds and stuff that he can't really recognize what they are, he will bark until he can recognize what they are, or 30 seconds to a minute pass. Or if he's playing with another dog and he's all fired up, he'll bark then. I actually got a good video of it this week when he was playing with our miniature pinscher, and I'll go ahead and show that to you guys right now. So that's about as wild and crazy as the barking gets. But he's not really much of a barker, except for those couple situations. If he's in the yard, he's maybe like trying to guard his territory, or if he's playing with another dog and he gets fired up. But when we're out walking and he sees people or dogs or anything like that, he's not really a barker. And the breed's not really known to be that. Energy level is another thing that I touch on every week. His energy's definitely still continued to be going down ever since he kind of broke out of that teenager phase, or it was kind of up for the most part. This week, I'd say he was really lazy for the most part. Maybe had an hour or two at night where he really wanted to run around, burn off some steam, stuff like that. But continued to be going down. He's definitely out of that teenager phase, and that energy's just kind of week after week been continuing to go down. So he's definitely kind of getting into that Bullmastiff breed standard of being a little bit on the lazier side. Drooling is the last thing that I touch on every single week. There hasn't really been a change in that. He only drools during like food-related, water-related type things for the most part, but he will drool if he's panting heavily, like if it's a really hot day and he's doing some exercising, take him for a walk or something like that. And then last week or the week before, I can't remember what it was, he had some like stress related drool. There was a lot of fireworks and stuff going on kind of near our house. Somebody was putting on some big show, and he got pretty stressed out, kind of, well, not really stressed out, but pacing around the house, kind of wondering what's going on. And there was a little bit of drool hanging from his jowls at that point. But those are pretty much the only situations where he drools. Food related, water related, if he's hot and panting heavily, or kind of stressed out. Otherwise, he's not like a dog that just drools when he's lounging around the house or anything. So it hasn't been like a huge issue for myself, the drooling aspect of the breed, because you pretty much know when it's going to happen. So you just keep a rag or a paper towel handy and go ahead and wipe it up. But it can get pretty intense and pretty heavy right after drinking water. That's when it's the worst. But yeah, guys, that's all I have to touch on for the week. As always, if there's anything else that you guys would like me to report on or touch on every week other than the main things that I already do, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and take care.